to Gurukul Live Lectures. I am Professor Namita Rajput, Professor in Department of Commerce, Sri Aurobindo College, University of Delhi. In the ongoing series of Emotional Intelligence, today we will be talking on building emotional intelligence, strengthening self-awareness, self-management for personal growth. Now, self-management is the ability to control your thoughts, emotions and behavior in different situations, especially when you are feeling overwhelmed or stressed. Now, this skill is very crucial for the success in the life as it helps you respond to the challenges in a very calm and a thoughtful way rather than reacting very impulsively. So, self-management is especially important when dealing with the strong emotions like anxiety, fear and anger, which can sometimes make us feel out of control if not handled properly. Managing emotions, the foundation of self-control. Now, the question is, what are emotions? Emotions are very complex feelings that arise in response to a situation or the thoughts. They can be positive, like joy, excitement, pride, or negative, like sadness, frustration, or jealousy. Learning to manage emotions means you are recognizing what you're feeling and responding to those feelings in a very constructive way. Let us talk about the characteristics of emotions. Out of this, the first is varied and changing. Emotions can change very quickly from happy to sad, from calm to frustrated, or excited to disappointed, depending on the situation. Now, the question is, how can it influence the behavior? The answer is very simple. If not managed, emotions can drive impulsive actions like yelling and when you are angry or quitting when you are discouraged. So, this is the way it happens to the behavior. Now, it can also be linked to your physical reactions, like emotions often trigger the physical responses like sweating when you're nervous or shaking when you are scared. And why it's important? Learning to manage the emotions is very essential because unmanaged emotions can cloud your judgment and lead to some poor decisions. Whether you're feeling frustrated with a classmate, you're nervous about an exam, or you're disappointed about a grade, controlling your emotion helps you handle the situations better and keeps you focused on your goals. Let's take an example. Let's say when you have been working very hard on a project and your teacher criticizes it, you feel very upset and frustrated. Instead of reacting emotionally, perhaps by getting defensive or shutting down, you take a moment to process your feelings. You acknowledge that you are upset, but realize that feedback can help you improve. So, this approach turns a negative situation into a learning experience that you are actually ready to take up the improvement in the project so that when next time it is on the table, it is approved. So, you are acknowledging this particular aspect that the feedback you have got on your project which was disapproved proves to be very positive and you can always improve upon the project. So, this approach definitely is a turnaround strategy which turns a negative situation into a very positive situation, that is a good learning experience. So, now let us talk about some simple tips for managing your emotions. The first and the foremost is recognize, acknowledge your feelings. So, acknowledging your feelings is one of the very important tip for managing your emotions. Recognize when you're feeling upset, frustrated, sad, and try to name the emotion. Take a moment to pause before reacting to a situation. Take a deep breath or count to 10. This will help you respond very thoughtfully rather than impulsively. Ask yourself for help. If your emotions feel too big to handle alone, talk to a trusted friend, a family member, or a teacher, or a mentor. And sometimes sharing your feelings can provide a relief and help you think more clearly. The second is managing anxiety, reducing a worry and staying focused. Now, the question is, what is anxiety? Anxiety is a feeling of worry or nervousness about something that might happen in the future. It's normal to feel anxious because a big test, presentation, or social event. However, when the anxiety becomes overwhelming, it can interfere with your ability to focus, study, or enjoy life. Now, what are the characteristics of anxiety? Let us dwell into this. The first and the foremost is worrying about the future events. Anxiety is often focused on things that haven't happened yet, such as worrying about failing a test or making or not making friends. There are some physical symptoms which are associated and linked with anxiety. Anxiety can cause a racing heart, sweating, stomach aches, headaches, or even a trouble sleeping. Now, there is a restlessness which is a bigger sign of this. People with anxiety, they often feel restless or on the edge, making it very hard to sit still or concentrate. Now, why it is important? Managing anxiety is essential because it can disrupt your ability to focus and perform well in the school or in a social situation. If you allow anxiety to control you, it can lead to avoidance behavior like procrastinating on assignments or skipping some social events because of the fear. Let's take an example to help understand this concept. Imagine you're feeling very anxious about giving a class presentation. Your heart is pounding and your mind is racing with the thoughts like, what if I mess up? Instead of avoiding the presentation or panicking, you manage your anxiety by taking slow, deep breaths and reminding yourself that you are practiced and you are prepared. Talk to yourself about it. So, breaking the task into some smaller steps, like focusing on one slide at a time, will really help you stay calm and also focused. Now, we will be now talking about some simple steps for managing the anxiety. Practice deep breathing. When anxiety hits, take slow, deep breaths to calm your mind and body. Inhale through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold for 4 seconds and exhale through your mouth for 4 seconds. So, it's 4, 4 and 4. This is one of the examples of managing your thoughts. Now, let us talk about challenge your negative thought. It is also one of the best techniques for this. If you are thinking, I'm going to fail this test, challenge that thought by asking, is this really true? Replace your negative thoughts with some more balanced ones, like, I have studied hard and I will do my best and I will clear the exam. Take an action. Often anxiety comes from the feeling which is out of control. If you are very anxious about an exam, for example, start studying early to regain the control of the situation. Now, the third is your managing fear, facing challenges and overcoming obstacles. What is fear? Fear is an emotional response to a real or a perceived threat. It's a very natural survival mechanism which is designed to protect us from the danger. However, fear can also arise in non-dangerous situations like giving a speech or trying something new and can prevent us from stepping out of our comfort zone. Now let us now talk about some characteristics of fear. Fear often causes a flight or flight response, which can include a racing heart, quick breathing and feeling tense, immediate and powerful. Fear is typically a strong, immediate reaction to a perceived threat or challenge, like an upcoming test or speaking in front of others. Can be very rational or irrational. Sometimes fear is based on a real danger, but often it's tied to the situation that aren't truly threatening, like fear of failures or public speaking. Now, the question is why it's important. Fear can stop you from achieving your response potential, and when you manage fear effectively, you can push through a discomfort and try some new things which will help you grow. Whether it's fear of failure, public speaking, or meeting new people. Learning to face your fears is very crucial for your personal development. Let's take an example. You are invited to join a new club at the school, but you're very scared because you don't know anyone in the group. Instead of letting that fear stop you, you decide to attend the first meeting, even though you are very nervous. Afterwards, you realize that joining the club wasn't as crazy as you thought, and now you are made new friends. So, let's talk about some simple steps, simple tips for managing your fear. Take small steps. If something scares you, break it down into smaller, less intimidating steps. For example, if you are afraid of public speaking, start by practicing in front of a mirror or with a small group of some close friends. Reframe your thinking. Instead of focusing on what could go wrong, focus on what could go right. Remind yourself of a positive benefit of facing your own fears. Now, the next important aspect is visualize the success. Close your eyes, imagine yourself succeeding at whatever is making you afraid. This can really help reduce the intensity of your fear. Now, the next most important aspect is your managing anger. We have done till fear. So, self-management we have done till now. How to manage your emotions, your anxiety, fear, and now we are moving on to how to manage your anger. Keeping calm in a tough situation. This is what is called as managing anger. Now, let's talk about some definitional aspect of what is anger. Anger is a strong emotional response to feeling wronged, frustrated, or treated unfairly. While anger is a very natural emotion, it can be very destructive as it leads to aggressive behavior, some hurtful words, impulsive actions. Learning to manage your anger is about finding the healthy ways to express it without hurting others or escalating a situation. So, anger is something which definitely needs to be managed, needs to be controlled. Let's do some characteristics of what anger means. The first is about the physical signs. Anger can cause a physical changes like a faster heartbeat, clenched fist, or even a flushed face. Now, the next is your impulsive behavior. Anger often leads to acting without thinking, which can actually result in a hurtful words or actions that you might regret later. The next important aspect is your triggered by injustice. Anger is typically sparked when you feel that something is very unfair, wrong, or disrespectful. Why it's important? Unchecked anger can actually lead to conflicts with your friends, family, or teachers. It can also damage your relationships. So, by managing your anger, you learn to express your feelings in a very calm, respectful way, which helps you resolve your conflicts and keep your relationships strong. Now, let us take an example. A classmate makes a rude comment about your presentation and you immediately feel very angry. So, instead of yelling or saying something very hurtful, you recognize the anger arising and take a few deep breaths to calm yourself. So, after cooling down, you calmly explain to the classmate how their comment made you feel without escalating the situation. Now, we will be discussing some simple steps for managing your anger. The first is your step away. When you feel anger rising, step away from a situation for a few minutes to cool down before reacting. Take deep breathing. Just like with anxiety, deep breathing really helps you slow down your heart rate, relaxes your body when you are angry. Use I statements. Express your feelings by saying, I feel upset, because instead of accusing the other person, this will help you communicate your emotions without attacking the other person. Now, we will be talking on a very important question, that why self-management is very essential for the students. Self-management is very important because it helps you control how you respond to the challenges, stress, and also some difficult situations. Whether you are facing the academic pressure, personal conflicts, social anxiety, managing your emotions allow you to think more clearly and make better decision making. So, we will be discussing few points which will articulate that why self-management is very crucial and important for the students. The first and the foremost we talk about is the better decision making. When you are in control of your emotions, you can make thoughtful, informed decisions rather than reacting impulsively. The next is your stronger relationships. Managing emotions like anger and frustration helps you communicate more respectfully, leading to healthier relationships with the friends, classmates, and also the teachers. Improved focus and productivity. When you manage anxiety and the stress, you are better able to focus on your studies and the task, leading to improved performance in the school. So, what is the conclusion as of now as we talk about self management, managing emotions, anxiety, fear, and anger? It is actually a lifelong skill for the success. Learning to manage emotions like anxiety, fear, anger is a very valuable skill that can really help you succeed in the school and also in the life, because this is what is called as a lifelong skill for the success in your life, personal growth, and academics. By mastering a self management, you gain the ability to handle the stressful situations with calmness, thinking very, very clearly under the pressure, and communicate effectively with others. Start practicing the self management techniques like the reframing of your negative thoughts, taking deep breathing, stepping away when the emotions get very, very strong. With the time and practice, you will develop a stronger emotional control, helping you become more resilient, more focused, and more confident. So, this is what is most important aspect when you talk about the self management, emotions, anxiety, fear, and the anger. We have talked about is at a length that what are a fear is all about, what is anxiety, what is anger, what are the characteristics. So let's have a very, very short, a recap of all the things which we have done today. Like we talk about the overall aspects of the self management and why it is important. So, anything related to the emotions which has a physical response like the anxiety, your other aspects like nervous system, your shaking when you are scared. So, you need to learn to manage your emotions in a very effective manner. Like we talked about also some simple things for managing your emotions, that is, you need to acknowledge your feelings, take a moment to pause, ask for the self if you actually need. We talked about anxiety, which is a feeling of worry or nervousness about something that might happen in the future and that this has not happened as of now. So, you need to be very important worrying about the future events. You need to be very cautious about any kind of physical symptoms, restlessness, and all these things managing is very, very important. So, instead of avoiding the situation, face the situation. Facing the situations and breaking the task into some simpler subjects, simpler steps will help us focusing on one at a time aspects, which is definitely very, very easy. So, there is a 4-4-4 strategy which we also talked about. When the anxiety hits you, take a slow deep breaths, calm your mind and body, inhale through your nose for 4 seconds, hold it for 4 seconds, exhale it for 4 seconds. So, it is a 4-4-4 strategy. Challenge your negative thoughts and talk about the I statements that I can, I will, and I will not fail the test. I have studied hard. So, believe in yourself is one of the prime aspects of managing the self management. Often anxiety comes from the feeling which is out of control. So, you have been very anxious about an exam, that you will not clear it. So, you have to regain the control of that situation. Similarly, fear affects you in a very, very negative way, and it's a kind of a threat, and it comes from a very natural mechanism. So, you need to take a break, you need to talk to your fears, some physical responses, immediately and powerful action. You have to be very, very rational when you're dealing with it, and also whether it's a fear of failure, public speaking, meeting new people, learning to face new challenges, it is definitely very, very important for your personal development and the feelings. So, there are some simple frames for managing your fear, that is, you have to reframe your thinking, visualize the success. Now, what is anger? This is the most important aspect. It's a kind of a negative emotion in which you feel actually frustrated, wronged, and unfair. You need to control, you have to see the physical signs, you need to be controlling your impulsive behavior, and definitely it is triggered with some injustice. So you need to uncheck the anger, can really lead to the conflicts with your friends or teachers, and it can also damage your relationship. So you need to manage your anger. You have to learn to express your feelings in a very calm way, which helps you resolve your conflicts and make your relationships very, very strong. So the last thing which I would like to say here, that you need to manage your anger. The first and the foremost is take a deep breath, move away from the situation, use I situations, I statements, and this is how self-management is, will really help you taking better decisions, stronger relationship, a more focused future, increase in productivity, and last but not the least, you will learn the best skills in life which will help you in growing your own self, and the environment aspects are also very, very positive. Thank you very much.